east of Ashcroft, BC. You can win groceries for a year if the kickoffs return for a touchdown in this game, thanks to Safeway Sobeys $1 Million Touchdown to Win promotion. And if a second kickoff is returned for a touchdown in this one, well, you can also win $1 million. Good luck, Linda. It's playoff time in the CFL. Rod Black, Dwayne Ford will have the call when we come back.
On this Remembrance Day, where we say thank you and salute those who have served, we welcome you to the CFL playoffs. The BC Lions and the Hamilton Tiger Cats on a cold November day. And it's perfect playoff football weather. It is Solly against Solly today.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah Masoli, starting quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, put together a career season. He is the East Division's nominee for the most outstanding player. You've got Solomon Elimimian coming back to the BC Lions defense for this massive game. Two-time most outstanding defensive player. They're going head-to-head.
Could be Wally's last stand. Wally Buono, all-time winningest coach, retiring after this season. An elimination game for June Jones and the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A team that lost 3 straight against the Lions, who lost 2 straight down the stretch. But that doesn't matter. This is the playoffs. We've got orange and white, we've got black and gold, we've got a crossover cat fight. The East Division semifinal. Frankie Williams is back. The Lions won the toss, deferred to the second half. The wind is howling as usual here at Tim Hortons Field. And away we go. Ty Long with the kick. Picking it up near the 5-yard line. The Hamilton Tiger Cats are smothered. Frankie Williams and Jeremiah Masoli, the Eastern Division most outstanding player. In a breakout season, 5,200 yards in passing, 28 touchdowns, 18 interceptions.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah Masoli leads that Hamilton Tiger Cat run and shoot offense. Passing attack. They rely largely on his arm. We'll see how effective that passing attack is with so many receivers out of the lineup.
Team decimated by injury. No Brandon Banks, no Jalen Saunders, no Terrence Tolliver, no Chris Williams. And a handoff right away to Alex Green. And Green is brought down by Solomon Elimimian in his first play in a couple of months. The former Hawaii Warrior brings down a Hawaii Warrior.
And taking a look at this Hamilton Tiger Cat offense, Luke Tasker, last man standing. They rely on him largely in that receiving core. He had an 1,100-yard season. The offensive line is led by Brandon Ravenberg, former first-round pick, who's the East Division nominee as the most outstanding offensive lineman.
Loss of 2 on the play. Masoli. Green in the backfield to block. Looking now and going deep and over the top. It's caught. Braylon Addison, coming off a big game last week, has only played a couple of games for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 38-yard pickup as Jeremiah Masoli stretches it out for Addison. And the last thing they need is another hurt receiver, but Addison is up.
Well, you have to love the story of Braylon Addison, a guy essentially got an opportunity to play last week as they were resting people, getting some different people in that lineup. Addison looked so good in that offense that they essentially had to put him on the playoff roster.
Terrell Sinkfield not playing, but look at this. Addison goes to the sideline. Matthew Shinetti's on the sideline reporting for us today. We'll try to get an update. This is a roster, a depth chart that doesn't have many receivers, quite obviously, but they haven't added a lot of players to that depth chart.
Well, you look within the receiving core, late season additions. You had Marquay McDaniel, who hadn't played all year, joined the group. You had Terrell Sinkfield, a late season signing after being released in the National Football League, not in the lineup. Now Addison goes down. Should have Félix Faubert-Lucier, the Canadian out of Laval, stepping into his spot in the lineup. As there you see one of the many walking wounded from the receiving core, Speedy B, Brandon Banks.
So they'll go 1st and 10, just inside BC territory, operating against the breeze. Masoli takes off and rolling. Looking for Luke Tasker. There's a flag on the play. And it was way back near the 35-yard line. Al Bradbury is our referee today.
Illegal contact on a receiver. BC, number 56. It's a 10-yard penalty, enough for a first down.
So Solly flag for illegal contact, and you wonder how Solomon Elimimian will adjust. It's been a while since he's strapped on the pads and the helmet.
Well, certainly it'll take a couple snaps to get up to game speed. You saw him bump the crosser there. Not sure that was intentional, but
it is a first down. Now there's the blitz, and out of the backfield is Alex Green. Green has a first down to the 30, to the 25, and finally brought down by Gary Peters as they work a little bubble screen out to Alex Green for a 21-yard catch and run.
You watch on this play, the pressure is going to come from the top of the screen faster than expected. Jeremiah Masoli has to adjust. He's got to sort of speed up the pace of this play, speed up what is usually a 3 count to get the ball out there, puts a little air over it to get under it to get over the pass rushers. A nice pickup for the Ticats on the screen to Alex Green.
Green also one of the walking wounded this year. Only played in 8 games, 604 yards, 7 touchdowns. Little read option here for Green, who accelerates and picks up a couple yards. Looks like a throwing down now after a gain of 3 as we take a look at how BC sets up defensively.
Yeah, and obviously 2 great pass rushers on the outsides in Willis and Lemon, but I think the key to their D-line is Davon Coleman, 7 sacks from his D-tackle spot. Of course, happy to welcome Solomon Elimimian back to this defensive lineup this week. And on the back end, Anthony Orange, CFL veteran, a West Division All-Star this season. He and TJ Lee will be key on that boundary side.
Good news for the Cats. Braylon Addison back. Right on the line of the red zone. Masoli now to Addison. Makes 1 miss and slides down inside the 10-yard line. And from the sideline, 2 targets in this game so far, and Braylon Addison has the Cats in scoring position here. A 12-yard pickup.
Well, this is what I would describe as the world's slowest developing hitch screen. Addison is just going to kind of wait out there, where usually a hitch screen is a ball that's going to be thrown fairly quickly. This one's a real delay. Let the defense start shifting the other way as Masoli looks them off. Nice execution, allowing time to get a blocker out there for him.
1st and goal, 7th play of the drive. Again, the read option. And again, the Cats. It's Sean Thomas Erlington with the touch this time, and he kind of slipped on a banana peel down near the 3-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to score relatively easily on this play. Watch the job by Brandon Ravenberg on the kick out, locks onto his guy, Ivan McLennan. Just as Thomas Erlington looked to turn the corner, the wheels went out from underneath him.
So it's now 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. Lions late substitution here, and their players have to actually go through the Hamilton bench.
Well, the Ticats as well actually had a late switch in their personnel, which I think is what led to the delay in substituting on D.
2nd and goal, shotgun for Masoli, for the Cats to strike first. Handing it off to Alex Green, and he's stuffed at the 1-yard line. Will set up 3rd and goal. Do you take the points early on? Do you go early on?
If I'm the Hamilton Tiger Cats in this situation, I'm absolutely going for it. You're on the 1-yard line, you're playing at home.
Masoli goes to the sideline. Dane Evans, the backup. Evans will go behind center here. At the worst, to give up the football, it's a long field for the Lions. They send everybody out wide. And Evans runs the option, and he fumbles the football, and it is picked up in the end zone. zone for a touchdown. Kevin Palmer has it. And the officials are all meeting. Was he down? Was Alex Green down at the 1? The Cats are celebrating. This will be reviewed.
Yeah, watch Evans here on the keep. He tries to tuck it up inside, and Ivan McLennan crashes and makes the hit.
I don't know. I'm not sure if he was down. The knee has to be down. McLennan making that hit.
He's on top of a teammate who's down when the ball pops free. Kelvin Palmer alertly rushes to the ball.
By the command center.
Ball was kind of hurled over top, and Palmer, the former Baylor Bear, recovers. CFL Command's looking at it right now. They're reviewing it. We'll have the verdict when we come back to the East Division semifinal from the Hammer.
After review, the ruling on the field stands of a touchdown.
It is a touchdown. Kevin Palmer, the most unlikely candidate to score the first touchdown of this East Division semifinal.
Option play here. Frankly, the ball probably should have been tossed when Ivan McLennan crashed down. Should have been tossed to the running back, Green. When you see Dane Evans go down, he lands on a teammate. Nothing other than his feet or elbow or hands touch the ground. He's fine. So that ball pops free. Kelvin Palmer in for the recovery. And the Ticats, well, I guess their third down gamble paid off.
Lirim Hajrullahu into the stiff wind. The 32-yard point after. Right through. Kevin Palmer, the Baylor Bear, scores for the Cats. Hamilton strikes first. The CFL playoffs on TSN are brought to you by Shaw, proud to present the 106th Grey Cup. Couple weeks away from that in Edmonton. Who will be there? Anybody's guess. This game, winner takes it all to Ottawa next week. Loser is done. The East Division semifinal, and Kevin Palmer scores first on a fumble recovered in the end zone. A drive that ate up a lot of the game clock. Lirim Hajrullahu into the wind. Good starting point here for the BC Lions. Jeremiah Johnson returning. Chris Rainey not in the lineup. And a nice return for JJ Jeremiah Johnson. Almost already at the midway point of the first quarter, and Travis Lulay getting his first touch.
Yes, sir. Travis Lulay has been through the battles before. Of course, leading the BC Lions to that 2011 Grey Cup, a year in which he was the league's most outstanding player. Some ups and downs for Lulay this season, but exactly the kind of guy with that experience, leadership, and poise you want to have under center at this time of year.
Fourth place team in the West crosses over to the East and wants to become the first ever crossover team to make it to the Grey Cup. Lulay sends out three receivers to his left and will hand it off. No, he won't. It's fumbled. Fumbled football. And the Cats have it. Adrian Tracy. And suddenly this game looking like the last time the BC Lions were in Hamilton. They got off to a disastrous start on that day. And this not much better. Read option. Lulay fumbles. Tracy recovers. Cats football once again.
The man of the moment coming off the defensive end, right side of your screen, does a terrific job of recognizing that Travis Lulay is a guy who is capable of moving that pocket a little bit. Here's the ref cam look, courtesy of Al Bradbury. And Tracy does a terrific job staying at home, maintaining leverage, contain position, make sure Lulay doesn't get out of that pocket. It's a good call by BC to go play action because everyone expects them to run Sutton a lot on first down, but great response, great preparation from the Ticats.
Now the Lions have to find a way to stop the Cats. Look like the Lions moved. A free one here, and going deep again down near the 5. for Luke Tasker. Can't come up with it. Watched, blanketed by TJ Lee, who had an outstanding season. Defensive half for the BC Lions, but this looked like it was a jump by the Lions on the line. Maybe they are saying it's procedure or perhaps not. We'll see right here, Sal.
Offside. BC number 9. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
It is Sean Lemon who jumped, so that was a free play. It'll be 1st and 5.
There's Sean Lemon, one half of that dynamic duo at defensive end. He and Odell Willis both finishing in double figures in sacks this season.
Lemon began the year with the Argos, who he won a Grey Cup with last November. Handed off to Alex Green, met by a convoy out there, including Solomon Elimimian.
Here's a look at the last time the Ticats had the football to open the game. It starts with the ball to Braylon Addison. A screen to Alex Green, a big play along the way. Hitch to Addison after he came back from being a little bit nicked up. And then the one that wasn't in the playbook, Dane Evans to Kelvin Palmer. Fumble recovery for the touchdown.
Key second down conversion. The Lions were second last, preventing second down completions or conversions. And they don't do it here again. And once again, it's Addison. Cats were very good on second downs this year, and they're showing that early in this ball game. 27 yards again for Braylon Addison, fast becoming a star here in Hamilton.
Well, it certainly speaks volumes as to why Braylon Addison was put in the lineup for this football game. Basically hadn't played since in over a month, hadn't been on the roster for a stretch. Last week he gets on the roster, came into last week's game with 1 catch on the season. Last week he went 7 for 103 and finds himself here on the playoff roster. 3 catches, 77 yards already for him in this ballgame.
Another 1st and goal for Masoli and the Cats. After the turnover and a loss here, it'll be a throwing down. And the Lions trying to hold at the very minimum a field goal attempt. They read that play perfectly. Junior Luke stopping Alex Green in his tracks.
Yeah, Luke went back door on the guard. Darius Sirocco to track down that play.
Where will Masoli go this time? His second down guy normally is Luke Tasker, the only 1,000-yard receiver in the flow for the Cats. There's the rush, and this is easy for Luke Tasker. Touchdown, Hamilton. Let's go, baby. Luke Tasker just broke to the west, to his right, and he was wide open. And the Cats put points on the board after that fumble by Travis Lulay.
11 touchdown catches for Luke Tasker during the regular season. And his first of the 2018 postseason. Extends the Ticat lead to 13, a 5-play, 42-yard drive after the Adrian Tracy fumble recovery.
Guy with one of the many mustaches to celebrate November. Chatting with us yesterday, he holds for Hairolahu. What a start for the Cats here. Luke Tasker has a touchdown and a souvenir at Tim Hortons Field. 14-zip in the East Division semifinal. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Cloudy day. They call it the blackout here in Hamilton. Everybody wearing black. And right now the guys in black and gold are taking it to the visitors from the west. As we say good morning to those of you watching out west, the BC Lions right now need a wake-up call.
Luke Tasker certainly providing a jolt, little swap of positions on the motion. Great sort of a flat corner route there from Tasker. Great move to the inside, getting the defender's hips turned right around for breaking outside. Masoli had all kinds of time to lay it in there.
How important is it for BC to punch back right here?
Well, critical. BC Lions have the win to start this ball game. They've had the ball for a grand total of 31 seconds so far.
Terrell Sutton brought down. Curtis Newton downfield quickly, so Travis Luling has work to do with this offense right now. They've got to get on the board.
Well, they certainly do. And you know, you wonder, everybody expecting Tyrell Sutton to be a huge part of their offense. He's been had such an impact since joining the team. If they fall behind, he becomes less of a factor. He's going to be key. Also keep an eye on Andrew Pearson, undrafted rookie playing center for the BC Lions in this football game. Another guy who joined the lineup late in the season.
This time they give it to Sutton, the former Alouette. There is a flag down on the play. Loose ball as well, but the whistle had blown. Sutton, such a key acquisition. And right now the Lions trying to quiet this crowd. Remember back in September 29th after
Major fail, face mask, Hamilton, number 1, 15 yards at the end of the play, automatic first down.
It's all-star Don Unumba. After losing to BC the week before, they came back here, the Cats did, and opened up a 20-0 lead. Right now it's 14-0. There's the face mask. First and 10 from the 53. Lule now in trouble and spikes it at the feet of Sutton. They're saying incomplete. And again, so it will be second down.
Terrific start for the Ticats. Defensively, Ted Laurent, of course, would be a key, whether pass or run, in terms of this Ticat defense. Larry Dean, leader in terms of defensive plays for this team, the East Division nominee as most outstanding defensive player. And of course, happy to have Delvin Breaux back on Breaux Island, the boundary corner position.
Second down and 10. Cats look to blitz here. And they do. Lule going deep now, coming back to the football is Ricky Collins Jr. Saying he caught that ball near the 32-yard line. Great catch by Collins. 25-yard gain on a ball that was a little wobbly from Travis Lule.
Nice adjustment to the ball in the air from Collins. Interesting to note the shuffle in the Ticat secondary that sees Josh Johnson at boundary field half. Richard Leonard, who has normally been a halfback in the CFL in his 2 seasons, he's the man at the field corner.
Handing it off to Sutton. They're going to pound that ground here today. This is a team that does not run the football very much. Second last in rushing. But that run game has picked up with the acquisition of number 13.
Yeah, I mean, the deal was made for a reason. As you see, offensive coordinator Jarius Jackson, longtime CFL quarterback, guy with a couple of Grey Cup rings. His time most recently with the Toronto Argonauts as a QB.
Lions second last in second down conversions in the league. Not this time, though. And there's a whistle. That play is not getting off in time. Devere Posey heading to the end zone. There's a flag.
Snap, time count violation. BC number 14. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
You can pin that one on the crowd here. They helped induce that time count violation. There's Posey, last year's Grey Cup MVP for the Argos. Picked up by the Lions.
Posey brought in following the injury to Manny Arsenault.
Lule undercover and again throwing it at the feet of Terrell Sutton. Had nobody home, and that's going to bring out Ty Long with the win with under 2.5 to go in a fast-paced first quarter. Long, an outstanding punter, a West Division All-Star this year. Also the field goal kicker. This will come from the 41. Wind assisted. Cody Fajardo the hold. Kick is up and the Lions miss it. And bringing it out of the end zone is Frankie Williams. Williams up near the 20-yard line to the 30-yard line.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
So no field goal, no single point. And here comes Jeremiah Masoli once again. Let's go to the sideline. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
Well, guys, the journey from being on the practice squad about 4 or 5 years ago for Jeremiah Masoli, was almost out of football, all the way to this point now, being the MOP in the East. Well, he said to us earlier this week, it was in my blood to work hard. But the leadership, it's so important. This week, in offensive meetings, Jeremiah Masoli put the college photos of all of his receivers down and told them unequivocally, your journeys have been long to get here, but it's, quote, in our blood. Guys.
Alex Green. But this is coming back. A hold against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Well, that blood that is running black and gold here in Hamilton.
4 yards regained, holding. Hamilton, number 63. 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
And right now, this will bring the ball back. Longer field. It's the touchdown hero earlier, Kevin Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer will give him a little bit of a freebie on that one, given his scoring exploits earlier in the ballgame.
Coming down to the final minute. Keep it on the ground once more, and here goes Green again. Alex Green, first down. And we expected a lot of Alex Green, a lot of Terrell Sutton, depending on the weather today, but it is the playoffs. That means pound the ground.
Keep an eye here on Sirocco, the guard. He gets the kick out. Green reads it. Kick to the outside, turn it up for the running back. Big gain to give the Ticats a first down and a little more breathing room.
22-yard romp for the Portland, Oregon native, Jeremiah Masoli. His team right now eating up some yardage. Once more. Clock ticks down. The final play likely upcoming of a first quarter that has to be considered an enormous success for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Well, the Ticats have got everything they want out of the start of this football game. BC Lions had the win for the first quarter. Hamilton Tiger Cats have had the ball for over 11 minutes in this quarter.
It's a crazy number already. Barring penalty, final play. And then the Cats will have the win. They've got all the momentum right now. Masoli, near side for Mike Jones. Close to the first down marker, so a decision to make. Likely will go for it, 3rd and 1 upcoming. But the teams will change ends. The Tiger Cats score on a fumble, then score another one after a fumble. Nature Boy in the house, and Cat fans yelling, woo! In the East Division semifinal. Remembrance Day today, honoring our veterans in about 15 minutes to honor and salute them. 2 o'clock Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific time. There will be a moment of silence here at Tim Hortons Field. Right now, the Hamilton Tiger Cats leading 14-0 against the BC Lions. This is almost deja vu of what happened 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, a dominant performance for the Ticats so far, and that is the key. So far, we've still got 3/4 of this game to go, but to be against the wind and dominate the time of possession and come away with a 14-0 lead, very successful start for the home team here.
We chatted with Jeremiah Masoli and Travis Lula yesterday, talking about the weather conditions and the wind, and Masoli as they will bring out their short yardage unit here for a 3rd and 1 play. And it is Dane Evans going over the top and really hanging on to that football this time. But Masoli was talking about throwing into the wind and with the wind and the differences, and it basically said the key is a tight spiral all day long. He's 6 for 6, Dwayne.
Yeah, I think he's got it figured out after several years of being a Hamilton Tiger Cat playing in this stadium. Kind of got a feeling that Masoli was on the mark when he came out and flung his first pass of the ball game for a huge gain to Braylon Addison down the seam.
Again, they had a 20-0 lead, scored on 3 of their first 4 possessions in their last meeting. Masoli stepping up, far side on first down. Over to Mike Jones. Let's go to the sideline, and also joining us today is Jock Climbing. Jocko?
Well, such a huge part of that first quarter was the fact that Hamilton was going against the wind. To be able to come up with that many points is huge, but Braylon Addison was a huge part of that. When you have that many guys go down on offense and receiving core, you got to find guys you can build a rapport with. This is a guy who only had 1 catch in the NFL a couple years ago, 1 catch earlier this season, but he's already becoming the new Speedy B. He's built a little bit like him. They're asking him to do a lot of the same things that Speedy B does, which is run those option routes, and so far, so good for the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
2nd down and 6. Thanks, John. Masoli stretching it out, and there he is again. Oh, the new Speedy B, Braylon Addison, down near the 10-yard line.
Well, Braylon Addison's remarkable start to this football game continues, kicking off the second quarter the same way he kicked off the first. Got position on TJ Lee, blocked him out, focused on that football for another huge Hamilton Tiger Cat gain. He is already over 100 yards receiving in the ballgame.
Well, he's been waiting for his time to shine. Former Oregon Duck. There, a Bronco, now a Tiger Cat. Alex Green trying to slip away. He cannot, and likely now a throwing down. Maybe this is now Speedy B2. There is Speedy B1, the original. Of course, they had Jalen Saunders.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all the guys that have gone down, and the question down the stretch for the Hamilton Tiger Cats has been, well, what about the receiving core? What are we going to do with this receiving core? You see the injured guys. That doesn't even include Chris Williams, acquired in the Johnny Manziel trade. But to think that they had the answer here all along, apparently, in Braylon Addison.
Masoli, deep, touchdown, Sean Thomas Erlington.
And a little Ric Flair 747 strut.
And already, just like September 29th, the Cats are up 20-0 and have scored on all 3 possessions.
Well, tremendous start. You know, how about Sean Thomas Erlington? They get him matched up on the linebacker. Herdman on the outside. This is a guy who came into the league as a running back. That's the position he played at the University of Montreal. Started taking reps as a receiver this year, and now they've been able to take advantage of matchups by putting him out wide to create the touchdown on that play.
21-0. Could not be better for the Cats. Could not be worse for the Lions. Jeremiah Masoli, 9 for 9. And a pair of touchdown tosses. Lunchtime already here in the Hammer in the East Division semifinal.
Working out an incline train area.
I love the execution of this play from the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You get your running back, they're going to motion him out of that backfield. Watch the linebacker. When they see him follow, they know they've got man coverage, and they like that matchup. Sean Thomas Erlington again, guy who's got some speed. He's taken lots of reps as a receiver. Get him matched up against an inside linebacker out in space like that. As a quarterback, you look to that matchup first every time. Worked out to perfection for the black and gold.
BC Lions, long climb, just got longer, but it's early. They need to get their feet set here. Jonathan Jennings was warming up, but Travis Lulay is back in the huddle here. The Lions desperately trying to put some points on the board. Looking so much like their last meeting when they lost 40-10. That was a game, though, that the Cats were motivated because the Lions came and danced on their logo. We're dancing on the logo today.
And adding to this uphill climb for the BC Lions once again. Down 21 and into the wind in this quarter.
Lulay, and this is trouble. As Richard Leonard was one-on-one with Brian Burnham. Let's see how that ball was affected by the wind.
Yeah, and this again goes back to the need to throw a tight spiral, but that's tough to do when you've got off-color jerseys in your face.
Lulay just got pummeled by Ted Laurent. There he is, Jerry Glanville, the icon, defensive coordinator this year. Always in black. Lulay with protection, now sets up a screen for Sutton. Sutton bashing his way, but won't get the first down. It's going to be about 3 yards short, and Ty Long is going to have to come out, the CFL's leading punter.
Let's see, for the BC Lions, you've got so many reasons why this offense needs to get going. You've got a defense that was on the field for over 11 minutes in the first quarter of the football game. You can't let your defense get completely worn down in this ball game. You don't want the Ticats to have a whole lot of opportunities with the win. You got to get some drives, and obviously, down 21, you got to get going. You got to get in this ball game.
Long, good kick to draw 15 yards. But Frankie Williams is sprung. Williams, sideline, will go. Flag down near the 5-yard line. There wasn't no yards. There was a penalty down. Another flag down. Let's see what this is. If they're both against BC, it's a touchdown. Al Bradbury figuring it out. Looks like this is coming back as they march this back. So no major here, likely offsetting calls. Awful start for the BC Lions here in Hamilton today. Here's Al.
No yards, BC, number 44, 15-yard penalty. Illegal block, Hamilton, number 81. Both will be balanced at 5 yards, first down.
So Felix Faubert-Lucier with that illegal block. That cost them a touchdown, but it's all going good for the Tiger Cats in the East semifinal. Shaw Road to the Grey Cup continues this afternoon. After this one, the West semifinal. Battle of the Prairies, Blue Bombers and the Rough Riders. 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Calgary Stampeders wait in the wings for the winner.
Well, there you see Felix Faubert-Lucier. He's tracking Rolly Lumbala.
Wow.
On that punt return team. Kind of a borderline one, quite frankly. Real close call. So that takes a Ticat touchdown off the board. Lions get a reprieve.
Not many things going BC's way. Flag down. Masoli tossing again, and he's still perfect, but there is a penalty. Masoli dusted in the backfield as well. Marquay McDaniel getting adjusted as makes his way up, but this is going against the Cats.
Offside. Hamilton, number 86. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
The only blemish so far for Braylon Addison. A 21-0 score. We're not even at the midway point of the second quarter. Lions defense that can force turnovers though. 21 picks, tied for the league lead in sacks, but they haven't had much pressure on Masoli. Need to put some on it. Now they roll it. Masoli to the near side, far sideline, and once again, it's Addison, but at the initial line of scrimmage for a 3-yard pickup. Let's go down to Matt.
Guys, don't call it an inquisition, but Solomon Elmimian and defensive coordinator Mark Washington were looking at their iPads quite keenly, and then before the Lions went back out on defense, Mark Washington pulled his entire team together, looked them all in the eye, and said, it's time to go right now, gentlemen. Guys?
Well, the bad news is that gaudy score right now. Good news is, get back in it really quickly. This is the CFL.
Well, the defense is going to have to get some stops until that offense can get going, whatever it takes.
Looks like onside here. Free one again for Masoli. Spinning, and Jeremiah Masoli goes down. Lions jumped again.
Offside. BC, number 91. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Junior Luke from his defensive tackle position. Looking for the quick get off.
Again, we welcome all our viewers across Canada. 150 countries around the world. Those of you watching down south. Veterans Day, Remembrance Day here. Have a moment of silence in a few moments. Here comes a blitz, and again it looked like BC moved. Masoli goes over the middle. That's his first incompletion. But again, BC very jumpy here.
It looked to me like the free safety Anthony Thompson trying to time up his blitz.
Offside. BC, number 23. 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
Going to see Anthony Thompson run up from his free safety spot. Looking for the blitz. He's trying to time up the snap count. Gets caught leaning as he sees the receivers approaching the line of scrimmage. He's kind of trying to match that as a gauge of when that ball's going to be snapped. Got caught leaning, stepped over the line before the snap of the football.
Now second and short. Second down and 2 here. Masoli trying to get them to jump again with his cadence. Whistle blows.
Prior to the snap, timeout was called by Hamilton.
Cats use a timeout almost to the midway point. Kind of a sputtering second quarter now. We're also moving close to that Remembrance Day moment of silence 2 minutes away here. Something unprecedented. All those viewers on the West Coast to honor that 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And we salute our veterans and those who sacrificed for all of us. We will do that shortly. So now a reset, second and 2. Blitz comes. Masoli had it batted down. This is now the first time that Lirim Hajrullahu will come out and kick, and it's the first possession that Hamilton hasn't scored. So that is a victory for the BC Lions.
Well, it sure is a big stop. Claudel Lewis, Lions top rookie, putting a hand on the ball. The Anthony Parker, the former Calgary Stampeder, back to receive. Again, no Chris Rainey today for the Lions.
With the wind is Hajrullahu. Anthony Parker brought down. Well, Hamilton is a city that through the years has paid homage to so many of our veterans. The Warplane Museum is here. Across our country, so many men and women who braved world wars. World War I, this being the centennial, the end of the First World War, and all of those who fought before us. And if it wasn't for all of these people, our country wouldn't be what it is today. We wouldn't be here today watching football. And so they will observe a moment of silence on this Remembrance Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please for a special announcement. Out of respect for our veterans, including those who made the ultimate sacrifice, and in recognition of our fellow CFL fans watching today's game in British Columbia, where it is now approaching 11 a.m., the CFL and the Tiger Cats ask you to join in a moment of silence. Please stand now, remove your caps, and pause for a moment of silence as we remember those who fought so gallantly and gave so much for our freedoms. Thank you, fans, and thank you to our veterans.
What a moment to silence 20,000 screaming fans, but for something so important as that, couldn't be any more important.
I certainly credit the Hamilton Tiger Cats and the Canadian Football League for taking that moment.
You know, Dwayne, this league has played through trying times, not through World War I or through the World Wars, but here is a man who in many ways is a hero of this league, former commissioner Jake Gadar, here at Tim Hortons Field. His bust is in the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Every year they award the Jake Gadar Trophy to a player who exemplifies the service of our military. Maybe one of the most important awards. Luc Brodeur-Jourdain, last year's winner. Matt Black has won that. Shea Emery and others. But Jake Gadar was a commissioner, a player, a builder. And here's the other thing. He was a pilot in the World War II, and he trained pilots. A true hero.
Yeah, certainly an appropriate man after whom to name that award. Great honor for those who have had the opportunity to win it, even to be nominated.
Wally Buono signaling to his sideline. His team down 3 converted touchdowns. Travis Lulay trying to settle things down for his offense right now. They're likely going to go for this. Fortunately, we got some reparation to the chain gang. BC Lion team, by the way, that has had a really tough road on the road this year. They had a tough start to the season, 3-6, righted the ship, went 6-3, but they have not done well in visiting stadiums. Just 2-7. The rub is the Cats haven't played well at home.
Going to third down, Can we bring it in?
And you always think all of those records, everything during the regular season, you have a chance to throw it all out and start with a fresh slate here in the playoffs.
That's why we love the postseason. So Lulay's on the sideline for this third down play. Must make right now. Wally knows it.
2
Cody Fajardo, an Argo a year ago, behind center, looking for a yard. Oh, he's not getting it! Stuffed! It'll depend on the spot, but from here, it did not look good.
Yeah, you watch down the line of scrimmage to see which way that surge is going to come. There was all those black jerseys moving forward.
They likely will bring the chains out once more. I'm not sure they got this. Needed almost a full yard.
Yeah, Larry Dean went over the top and met Fajardo midair.
You'll know the reaction right now. Well, the crowd is seriously into it. And unfortunate for the BC Lions, they are not into it right now. Another turnover, this one on downs. And it's all going wrong for BC and everything right for the Cats.
Watch for the Ticats middle linebacker, Larry Dean. Sits back, reads which way the play is going. His defensive linemen do a terrific job of taking on the blockers without letting them gain ground, taking them on their own side of the line of scrimmage. Keeps Larry Dean, the middle linebacker, free to scrape, step up, and meet it head on.
Hamilton looks to pile on now. Already up 21. Alex Green breaking free. Down to the 25, a 17-yard pickup.
Nice work continuing to be done by that Ticats offensive line. That time it was Brandon Revenberg, the puller. He and Darius Sirocco have done a terrific job pulling, getting those kickouts, creating running room for number 15, Alex Green.
1st and 10, Hamilton. Under 5 to play before halftime. Masoli trying to move the pocket with his feet, and it is caught by Tasker, who scores! Touchdown! Oh, what a play by Luke Tasker! Spin to win. To the end zone. Goes cool hands, Luke.
Now everybody saw the catch, everybody saw the move at the end of this, but this is a fantastic route start to finish for Luke Tasker. He had his defender turned inside out early. Masoli couldn't get it to him right away because of the scramble. That gave TJ Lee time to recover. Didn't matter to Tasker. He snatches the ball away from him. Great escape from the oncoming tacklers at the goal line to punch it in for his 2nd touchdown of the ball game.
Jeremiah Masoli. We are all witnesses right now to why this guy has become the East Division most outstanding player, and maybe the most outstanding player in the CFL this year, come Grey Cup week. His goal, he's already going there. He wants to bring his teammates. Hiralahu again. I don't think anybody saw this coming.
Not a chance.
28-0. 14 points off of turnovers. Both of those turnovers, touchdowns from Luke Tasker.
And if you saw Tasker, the background there, you could see him running his route. Got TJ Lee turned around. Masoli couldn't throw the ball right away because he's under pressure. He gets flushed. Tasker stays alive. Terrific concentration. And just a great effort to fight his way into the end zone.
How about the special effects? Our camera crew down there.
Yeah.
Luke Tasker, who chatted with us yesterday about how big this game is. His dad, of course, Steve, longtime Buffalo Bill, Hall of Famer. When Steve was young, playing in the NFL, Luke was just a little guy. Didn't remember all the big moments, but he said one of the things he always remembered is the feeling on game day. Jeremiah Masoli having a day.
Well, he certainly is. 11 of 12, 202 yards, 3 touchdown passes already for Jeremiah Masoli.
CFL playoffs on TSN, brought to you by BDC, the only bank exclusively devoted to entrepreneurs. Well,
During the return, holding, BC, number 98, 10-yard penalty, first down.
all the talk about Solly coming in for BC. It's been Solly today, and Wally, although he's been down this road so many times, he's been up before by this and seen teams come back. He's seen his team come back before, but this is a mountain. 28-0. And a long field for the Lions. To establish ground again, but that's not going to get it done. Let's go down to Jock on the sidelines. Jock?
To talk to Ed Hervey before the game, general manager for the BC Lions, and he felt coming into this season that his team was more like an expansion team because he had so many new faces, 14 guys he had to break in. He felt he just needed to get to Labor Day and be in the mix in order to be able to make a playoff run and get these guys used to playing together and developing some consistency. But it certainly looks like this team is playing like an expansion team. They are completely out of sorts and are not the BC Lions that we saw make that great push after Labor Day.
Oh, exactly. They look rattled right now. Trying to get some points on the board before halftime. Shaq Johnson will get a first down, it looks like.
Well, Travis Lulay stood in there and took a shot from Adrian Tracy to deliver this throw. Tracy came free off the edge. Ticats certainly thrilled to have number 5 back on that defensive line. D-line rotation that had already lost Jamal Westerman for the season due to injury.
Last play before the 3-minute warning. Only the 3rd first down for the Lions in this first half. And they're going against the wind. But Lulay stretching it up high. And they can't come down with it. Collins, high toss from Travis Lulay. And you wonder if Wally might be tempted to make a switch at quarterback in the second half to try to change the momentum some way. Because it's all going Luke Tasker's way today. 2 touchdowns. The Cats have 4 touchdowns. Hamilton leads 28-0.
3 minutes to halftime. It's a beatdown in Steeltown. Rod and the guys standing by to talk about that, as are James and Jock at field level. We'll also talk about the West semifinal, the Bombers and the Riders too. Pretty one-sided cat fight so far, Rod Black.
Yes, it is. Cats have the belt right now with Ric Flair in town. Nature Boy pumping up the crowd. Travis Lulay, shut out so far. It only takes 1 score to get some momentum. Another first down here. It is absolutely mandatory that the Lions put points before halftime.
Well, and one of the keys, again, for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, you know, defensively, they came into this football game wanting to take Terrell Sutton out of the game, wanting to shut down the run, force BC to go to the passing game to try and get after Travis Lulay. They haven't had to take Terrell Sutton out of the football game because the 28-0 lead has done that.
Pair of turnovers not helping. Now Lulay, and caught and down into Hamilton territory. First catch from DeVere Posey. And trying to quiet this Tim Hortons Field crowd as well. They have been off the charts since the beginning.
Well, Sutton doing a nice job helping out in that blitz pickup. Lulay standing in. Delivering 1-2. One of his newest acquisitions in that receiving corps. Former Argonaut Kavir Posey.
26-yard gain to the Hamilton 47. Furthest they have been. Lule going through his reads and then trying to go over the top. And it is Hamilton's ball. How about that? Can anything else go wrong for the BC Lions?
Now keep an eye on Simone Lawrence. Mugged right up on the line of scrimmage. Beats the center Pearson on pass rush. They force him by putting the linebacker up there. They force everybody on that offensive line to block one-on-one. No double teams.
How about the catch by Josh Johnson? How did he come up with that?
Tell you, Josh Johnson in his high school days was actually one of the best baseball players.
The previous play is under review by the command center.
He had to be a shortstop.
Yeah, one of the best baseball players in the United States in high school. Demonstrating his gold glove technique right there.
Former BC Lion. Spent time in the NFL and so with the Ottawa Red Blacks.
It's interesting that when they shuffled in the secondary, Jamal Roll got stepped on in the warm-up. That's why he's out of the lineup.
Let's make sure that the ball touched the turf. Ooh. Now, command is looking at every turnover. And if it did, this might be wiped away.
Yeah, from this angle, it's like you're sort of waiting to see that ball.
You can't see it.
Touch down, but even from here.
Might have been before that, though.
Yeah.
Right here, this might be the best look. Ooh.
That to me looked like he trapped it.
And if they saw that look, which I'm sure they have, see if there is a determination. And Wally Buono, it looks like, is going to finally get a break here for his BC Lions. Thanks to video replay.
Yes.
We have the verdict from CFL Command.
After review, the ruling on the field has been overturned to an incomplete pass. Second down, BC.
Boy, a big reprieve. Because if that's an interception, you might as well get your tickets ready for Ottawa if you're a Hamilton fan.
Yeah, Simone knew what was coming. He didn't catch it. Nonetheless, great effort from Josh Johnson. Great scheme from Jerry Glanville as you saw him free up Simone Lawrence on the blitz. We'll see if the Lions can take advantage of this second chance.
Second down and 10. And again, it's against the wind, so they can't kick a field goal after this. Lule, spiral and batted away by East Division All-Star Cariel Brooks.
Yeah, Brooks in his second season with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. As you mentioned, an all-star over on that boundary side.
Again, against the wind means that Long is going to kick, but it won't be a field goal. It'll be a punt here. A disastrous first half of football for the BC Lions. We'll have to have a complete turnaround in the second half if they have any hope. Ty Long floating one. Frankie Williams steps out of bounds. Well, every week in the Canadian Football League, we turn up the mics.
not sure if this is your last, but if it is, I'll say it again. Pleasure, bro. Pleasure.
Tipped high in the air and intercepted.
Damn, that f***ing sucks.
Oh, look at Gotti. Gotti, you smell like beer too, fool. You stink.
CFL Wired, Tuesday, 7:30, 4:30 Pacific. John Gott and the Ottawa Redblacks. Cooling out this week, awaiting the winner of this. Right now, all signs point to the Hamilton Tiger Cats making a trip next week.
Figure John Gott's enjoying a cold beer watching this one right now.
No, he's not crushing it, though. We are now with the John Gott rule change. Guy who became a legend for a beer chug. Masoli, dynamite first half. Sean Thomas Erlington, who scored a touchdown. Almost has a first down, and they likely will run again here with 1:10 to go. Well, here with 1:10 to put more points on the board and seriously put a cleat on a throat.
Well, one of the things that stands out in this football game has been the difference in first down production between these two teams. Lions averaging barely 2 yards of play on first down.
Soli is throwing to Tasker once more, and Luke down inside BC territory. Luke Tasker with his A game today. 31-yard pass and catch and run.
You remember the conversation about how the Hamilton Tiger Cats passing offense was supposed to be out of sorts because they had so many guys hurt?
Never mind.
Yeah.
Alex Green. Well, if you've seen this act before, might have been back in week 16. Right here, these two teams. Cats came out firing that day, and Brandon Banks was in the lineup. Pair of touchdowns from Banks. Luke Tasker. Hamilton led 20-0, then 30-3. And this game startingly familiar. Justin Buren, his first catch.
Well, Simon Fraser product. Like Braylon Addison, one of those guys who has taken advantage of the opportunity that he's received because of these late season injuries.
17 to go before the half. We have time for one play, and then you'd bring out Hairolahu. Has plenty of leg and has plenty of wind here. By the way, this is the first time any team has started a playoff game with 3 straight touchdowns on their first 3 possessions since Hamilton did it back in 1985 against Montreal in the East Final. Cats are used to this stuff. Blitz comes. Masoli pumps. Far sideline. So with 9 to go, they're likely going to trot out Hairolahu here. Trying to make it 31-0. We anticipated a collision here today of 2 teams that could run the football, 2 teams that were limping into the playoffs, had something to prove.
You go back, Rod, to the first meeting of the season between these 2 teams, the game in BC where the Ticats looked like they had things all wrapped up. The Lions came back and won that game in overtime. People talk about the dancing on the logo as motivation a week later when they played here. I think it was a matter of the Ticats wanting to send a message, wanting to leave no doubt, and they've continued that here in the playoff meeting.
Rare miss. Trying to come out of the end zone is Peters. The final play, the only miss by the Cats in a first half full of strikes, touchdowns, turnovers. Jeremiah Masoli was absolutely outstanding. The route is on in the East semifinal, and the Cats got a 28-0 lead as we send it down to James Duthie.
All right, thank you, Rod. With Jock climbing,
trying to cross over what could be Wally Buono's final game in the Canadian Football League. Here's Wally with Matthew Shinetti.
Go Coach, will you be making a quarterback change this half?
Well, right now we just want to try to get a first down. So it's not necessarily about the quarterback. He doesn't play defense. We've not done anything right now to do anything good.
What was the messaging from the coaches to the players at halftime?
Well, obviously, right now you got to just go out there and try to play and win one play at a time. There's still a whole half left. A lot can happen, but you got to win one play at a time.
Thank you, Walt.
Travis Lulay and Jonathan Jennings both throwing. Dwayne, the only thing the BC Lions won in the first half was the coin flip, which means they could defer to the second half, and you'd likely want to take the wind in the final quarter, but that's not the case right now.
Yeah, they've got to do what gives them the best chance to get points immediately and hope it works out better than it did when they had the wind in the first quarter.
So Jennings has his bucket on, so does Lulay. We'll find out in a moment who will be behind center. Lions down 4 touchdowns. Terrell Sutton on the return up near the 36. Here comes Travis. Trying to right this ship that capsized in the first half.
Well, again, you look at Travis Lulay's stats, pretty pedestrian, 6 of 12, 84 yards, but as Wally Buono alluded to, the defense wasn't getting stops, and quite frankly, Travis Lulay faced a lot of pressure in the first half of this football game. The BC Lions have got to get things blocked up, give their quarterback a chance to throw the ball, because you don't really have a ton of time here to rely on grinding it out drives with the run game.
Hamilton's defense was ferocious in that first half, producing 2 turnovers. Established the ground game again with Sutton, who we thought was going to be such a factor, but again, when you're down 28, you're going to be throwing the ball a lot.
Well, certainly the case. A good start there. Running with Sutton on first down. Better production on first down than they had through the first half of this ball game.
In fact, all season, Dwayne, they were dead last in first down production in the CFL, and that's coming back to haunt them today. Just 6.2 yards during the regular season. But they have 2nd and 3 now. Lulay looking for a quick hitter, but he's going down. Ted Laurent with the sack. There's a flag down.
Procedure, no end. BC, penalties decline. Play results, 3rd down.
No end. Sack by Laurent. Punt time again for BC. Inauspicious start out of the locker room.
Oh, just beaten at the line of scrimmage.
We may see Jonathan Jennings sooner than later. Big Tech with the win. Williams has room far side. Pushed out near the 35 and pushed into the signage. Undisciplined again from BC. And another 15 yards will be tacked on. Now the frustration mounting.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. BC, number 40. 15 yards at the end of the play. First down, Hamilton.
Looks like he was just trying to hold up. It was slipping.
Yeah, I think he might have blown a tire here.
Yeah. So close to that far sideline. Long snapper Mike Benson.
Well, not the start on offense or special teams that the Lions were looking for. Let's see what the defense can do.
But this guy has sizzled, and that's Masoli. 13 of 16 in the first half. 3 touchdown strikes, spreading the wealth, and twice finding Luke Tasker.
Yeah, Luke Tasker remains the go-to guy, but spreading it around. Braylon Addison with a monster first half, over 100 yards receiving for him. Sean Thomas Erlington chipping in both from the backfield and when motioning out to the as a wideout.
Masoli stands in, now steps up, tucks it, and decides to spin and take it. And he has a first down, and Jeremiah Masoli is able to extend that play. Guy who averages 7.3 yards a carry.
Yeah, doesn't run often, but certainly a weapon when he does. We've seen a couple of games this year where it seems like the called quarterback runs have been a bigger part of the game plan.
Another penalty against BC here. Cats are going to scrimmage inside BC territory, and see the frustration mounting again on the Lions sideline as well.
There's no infraction on the previous play. This play did result, though, in a first down.
Goes Masoli. "30-year-old out of the Bay Area. Grew up idolizing 49er great Steve Young. Young could do a lot of that. Scamper out of the pocket. Alex Green. How about the apprenticeship and the rise of Jeremiah Masoli? When we first really saw him in a playoff game was back in Ottawa back in 2015.
Yeah, pressed into action when Zach Collaros was injured. Came oh so close to leading the Tiger Cats to a Grey Cup appearance.
This guy has been a Santa Claus, has he not?
Well, he sure has recognized what Jeremiah Masoli brought to the table, felt he was an ideal fit for June Jones' run and shoot offensive scheme.
Comes that blitz, Masoli. Here he goes again on the roll. Chucking now and coming back, and unable to hang on to the football is Addison. Jeremiah Masoli able to scamper out and almost made something of that play, and Addison pounding the turf, thought he should have had that.
Yeah, got to the ball, got both hands on it, just unable to survive that landing.
Well, if a comeback has to start for the Lions, it has to start now. Defense holds. Hajrullahu down near the goal line. And Anthony Parker will give the BC Lions a long field. Should have given up one there. That kind of game, that kind of day for the guys in orange. 8 Mountain on CTV. Rod Black, Dwayne Ford, Matthew Shinetti, Jock Climby, James Duffy, our entire crew here. CFL East Division semifinal, which has been all black and gold. A day they call the blackout here at Tim Hortons Field. It's been a wipeout so far. 108 yards to go. Terrell Sutton's backed into the end zone, but they whistled him down. Looked like he may have got to the line of scrimmage.
Well, real tough position, obviously, for the BC Lions. Starting an offensive drive in the situation in which they find themselves trailing by 4 touchdowns. You would have liked to have seen Anthony Parker give up the single point, take a slightly shorter field to start the drive and open up your playbook at a time when you need to have everything at your disposal.
Need to get to the 14 for a first down. Lule is going to have to sling it from his end zone. Comes that rush again, and once again he has to spike it at the heels of Terrell Sutton. And all day long, Travis Lule has had Simone Lawrence and Larry Dean in his grill.
Well, you're going to see Simone Lawrence come off the left side of the screen. Terrell Sutton goes to get a try to get a piece of him. Doesn't get much. That allows Lawrence to continue upfield and get that pressure on Travis Lulay that forces him to throw the ball away faster than he wants.
So now they give up 2, and they could have given up 1 earlier. Give the ball back to Hamilton. The heat on Travis Lulay. Simone right there. Cats all over the field and this scoreboard in the Eastern Division semifinal.
Working out an incline training.
Under the headline, when opportunity knocks, you kick the door down.
Well, Braylon Addison took advantage of the opportunity, getting into the lineup last week. Looked so good that he parlayed that into a spot on the playoff roster, and he has made the most of that. For the second consecutive week, he has gone over 100 yards receiving and has been a big factor in the Ticats having a 30-point lead at this stage.
5 catches, 124. They fake the pitch, give it off to Alex Green, who has another first down. Let's go down to the sideline. Join Matthew Shinetti once again.
Well, Dwayne, you can put the numbers down, but the only person who is not necessarily surprised about Braylon Addison, that's Brandon Banks. Brandon Banks has taken more of a leadership role since that shoulder collarbone injury that he's had, the clavicle, I should say. And the one thing that we were talking about early in the first half about Addison, well, that Banks has been the one bleeding him into this offense, trying to make him understand the run and shoot offense. However, though, Addison does have a kind of understanding of the system from his time at Oregon. So Brandon Banks basically told him today, this isn't anything different from what you grew up in. You are a baller. You're going to make an impact, guys.
Certainly has, Matt, so far. And he just keeps on ticking. The surprise so far in this game, the score quite obviously, but the fact that you have all of these receivers who haven't had much playing time or experience. But then again, you also have Luke Tasker and Mike Jones, and you have a guy who we haven't really heard from today, who might figure in the next few weeks, Marquay McDaniel.
10-yard penalty remains, first down.
Well, McDaniel certainly the most experienced playoff receiver of the group. An eye on Mike Jones here, who's just penalized.
But they may have all of those guys in the lineup who have been part of the practice roster or scout teams, but they still have Jeremiah Masoli, Alex Green, 1st and 20, draw play.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Hamilton Tiger Cats receiving core, and you're absolutely right. Everybody talks about who's not there. But the fact is, Mike Jones and Luke Tasker combined for 7 100-plus yard receiving games this year. 4 of them were actually Jones. Tasker had 3. You know, they spread the ball around. Brandon Banks had a bundle, team record. Jalen Saunders, 3 times over 100 yards. So it's not a surprise that when they get someone else settled in to this offense that they would be able to produce and have an opportunity to do so.
Masoli is knocked down, threw that away, so once again they'll have to kick. Jeremiah Masoli, though, 12 300-yard games during the regular season.
Well, and there, Rod, as you and I discussed off camera, is the constant, right? They've gone through a lot of different receivers over the course of this season out of necessity. But the constant in this productive passing attack for the Hamilton Tiger Cats has been Jeremiah Masoli. And it is actually a common thread between he and the West Division most outstanding player, Bo Levi Mitchell, is they've been able to keep producing despite the fact that they haven't had the same receivers to rely on all season long.
You think they texted each other once in a while, saying, hey, how many receivers do you have left? And of course, Bo Levi Mitchell watching today in the Stamps, getting ready for next week, the winner of Winnipeg and Saskatchewan coming up after this one. Getting close to the midway point, quarter number 3. Hairolahu pumps one down near the 25-yard line. There's a no yards. Parker. Jeremiah Masoli hasn't faced a lot of duress today. This time, though, he got A close-up look at Bolacombo and still was able to get the ball away. His Cats lead 30-0.
Commentator Outdoor Clothing is brought to you by Nobis. This is Nobis.
Need your Nobis today, particularly out west. Day that began cool. There was some snow in the forecast. Doesn't look like that's going to fall here today. Right now, the only thing falling, BC Lions, right from the get-go in this game. Down 28-0 at the half, 30-0 now. Desperation time. Lulay still in. Moves the pocket, off his back foot, tosses it up. Another incomplete pass. Story, really defensively, has also been the pressure that pocket has taken today from Jerry Glanville.
Yeah, and again, that goes along with taking away the run game and being able to key on the pass. Forcing the BC Lions into a passing situation. It hasn't necessarily been a matter of just in second and long, but also now first down. BC has been forced to become a little more pass heavy in the football game because of simply of what the score and situation are.
Cats rush for again. Lulay more time and slings it, and Collins has it in a first down, a rare one in this second half. And Travis Lulay also knows that time is a ticking. Consumed a lot of clock here in the third quarter with the wind.
And still with nothing to show for it through what has been a quarter and a half of their 2 quarters of this football game with the wind at their backs.
First down in the second half. Lulay again, up to Sutton on a screen. And redeem their crosshairs. Another all-star on this Hamilton team that placed 9 Eastern Division All-Stars. BC plays 7 West Division All-Stars. Just 1 on offense. Brian Burnham.
And that's the first time we've said his name.
And this is lights out. Frankie Williams, house call. Touchdown, pick 6. The misery in the hammer continues for the BC Lions. Frankie goes to the end zone.
What's up, son? Throwing from the hash mark all the way out to the far sideline. We know from his efforts in the return game what kind of quickness Frankie Williams has. Let's go. 41 yards from hash mark to sideline. That's plenty of time for Williams to get a jump on the ball.
It is a crossover clobbering going on here in Hamilton.
With the wind at their backs, the BC Lions are minus 21 in this football game.
Minus 37 on the scoreboard. The blowout in Steeltown continues. From the former Purdue Boilermaker, Frankie Williams, second touchdown of the year. His first on a punt return, this time on the corner in a pick 6 off of Travis Lulay. And you got to think that Jonathan Jennings is likely coming in here soon for the BC Lions.
Travis Lulay looking out to the wide side. Wide out, DeVere Posey. Just a little 5-yard out. Frankie Williams is coming downhill all the way. Reading the route and the throw. Get a jump on the ball. One Travis Lulay wished he had on a string to pull it back as soon as it left his hands.
Jonathan Jennings is warming. 37-0. We saw that 28-0 score at halftime. Travis doesn't even know what hit him right now. Only one crossover game had a bigger halftime deficit. That was back in 1997.
Yeah, Montreal leading the BC Lions 42-12 at halftime, a 30-point halftime deficit in that ballgame.
Something about the crossover teams. They think maybe the path is easier in the East. Well, BC Lions, testament that it isn't. Travis is a spectator now. And what looks like Wally Buono's last stand, Canadian Football League coach, unless there is an incredible miracle comeback, down 37. You gotta think that ain't happening. Not today. The way the Hamilton Tiger Cats D is playing.
Well, Jonathan Jennings engineered the comeback the first time these two teams met this season, but it's a long way back today.
11 points. Jennings comes out firing for Collins. First game, I agree with you. I think the biggest motivator for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who stumbled into the playoffs, but back in September in that game, they looked like they had the victory wrapped up. They looked like they were going for first in the East, but they were humbled as the Lions came back in the last seconds to tie, send it to overtime and win.
Yeah, they didn't finish when they had a chance to finish.
They have finished today, though. Terrell Sutton up near the midfield stripe. You can hear Simone Lawrence from up here.
Well, how about this collision? Terrell Sutton, great catch, and watch him drop the shoulder. Simone still stayed alive to trip him up and live to talk about it.
Sending about everybody, and this is a shot downfield for Collins, wide open for Jonathan Jennings to lay that in perfectly inside the 20, and I know what BC Lion fans are saying right now. Where was this when the Lions needed it?
They're taking a shot. They caught Frankie Williams. He looking to jump an underneath route that time. Threw the ball over his head.
Biggest play for the Lions, 35 yards in the day. Here comes an all-out blitz. Jennings, though, over top. An overthrow for Collins once more.
And we'll note just further shuffling in that Hamilton Tiger Cat secondary that sees Frankie Williams at the field corner. In the original depth chart, it was Jamal Roll at field corner, Josh Johnson at field halfback. Roll got hurt in warm-up, so Richard Leonard went to corner. Johnson stayed at halfback. Now it's Leonard at halfback, Frankie Williams at corner. They're trying to get things sorted out there.
Jennings with Sutton beside him is throwing sideline down the far rail. Nothing doing.
Another lockdown over on Bro Island.
So third down upcoming with 2:45 left in the quarter, and they're going to go here. Field goals aren't doing it. BC team that turned the tables in mid-season. Lost their final two games of the regular season. Trying to become the first crossover team to get to the Grey Cup. Not going to happen. There's that blitz once more. And Richard Leonard with the pick. The nightmare in the hammer just keeps rolling on. Richard Leonard, the pick. Wally Buono is challenging.
On your number 4? No,
So they are challenging interference
BC is
here.
challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference by Hamilton, number 4. This will be reviewed.
You know what? You throw in the towel in boxing. This is throwing in that challenge flag. You have to do this right here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best scoring position you've been in all day. And there's a case to be made here. Watch, Richard Leonard gets the hands on as the receiver has a step on him. Again, I would contend the ball was thrown behind the receiver. And he didn't push the receiver forward. Is it even a catchable ball, is the argument. The contact and the impact on the receiver's route is undeniable.
Shaq Johnson signaling right away.
And I think the argument from Shaq Johnson and the BC Lions perspective is he's recovering from the contact and as a result can't make any kind of adjustment to the football.
Chance here that the Lions will keep this drive going.
After review, there's defensive pass interference. Hamilton, number 4. The ball spotted at the 4-yard line. Automatic first down.
There is Hamilton's owner, Bob Young. He's a fan too. But you can see him smiling today. By the way, their former owner at one-time commissioner of this league, David Braley. He's the owner of the BC Lions, owned the Argos as well, and it's a Hamilton resident. Wally brought the Lions east early this year to get their body clock adjusted. Didn't work in that first half.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're maybe starting to wake up now around what kickoff time would have been on the West Coast.
So Jennings, scrimmage inside the 5. Clock continues to bleed here in the third quarter. Ticats defense has feasted. And jump ball, and that will be in goal. Interference, and it will go down to the 1-yard line. Because that is in the end zone, it'll be first and goal.
Pass interference. Hamilton, number 26. Foul took place in goal. Ball will be placed on the 1-yard line with an automatic first down.
Carriel Brooks was celebrating, didn't see the flag behind him, and flag was thrown right away.
Yeah, see the right hand of Brooks wrapped around the back of Brian Burnham, little clutch on the jersey just before the receiver tries to go up for the ball.
Like you said earlier, we have not mentioned his name nearly enough today.
I mean, their best receiver, Brian Burnham, one of the best in the league.
Oh no! Terrell Sutton gives it up, and Simone Lawrence is going to race to the end zone. Down near the 30, will he get there? To the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown! No, they're saying he's out at the 1. Simone Lawrence on a high snap back. The BC Lions cough it up, and Simone almost went the distance. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats are still pitching a shutout and have scored almost every way possible.
Well, as I watched this play unfold, I wondered if Simone Lawrence might get flagged for loose ball interference as he ran over the Lions player. Sutton, as the ball was lying free. But no call. Simone scoops it up.
He's going to need an oxygen tank.
Well, he picked up the ball. He ran about the last 50 yards of that with a big grizzly bear on his back.
92-yard fumble recovery return, but down to the 1-yard line. A chance to put this in the end zone again. And the inevitable is upon us. Hamilton Tiger Cats can start punching their tickets, and we're not even into the fourth quarter. Wally Buono's last game.
If I'm the Hamilton Tiger Cats, I'm bringing Ric Flair to Ottawa next week.
Maybe the BC Lions should have brought The Rock. Ric Flair got this crowd going early. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Dane Evans, the finishing move. They put the figure 4 on early. A minute to go in the third quarter. Simone has got the oxygen going. The BC Lions have not stood a chance today. And the goal now for the Lions in the fourth quarter, to score at least a point. That was their best chance. And they messed that up. Hairolahu to make it 44. 44 unanswered points. The beat down in Steeltown 2018.
And there it was, Terrell Sutton looking to take the snap in short yardage. Ball goes high, Simone Lawrence recovers. Right about there is when the Grizzly got him.
Dane Evans backs in.
Yes. Didn't need Kelvin Palmer's help on that one.
Dane Evans wasn't at too many throws this season playing behind Masoli. That was close to a completion. So we might see some Dane Evans, and you'd have to think if June Jones is thinking about next week at all, and the way that injuries have crept up on the Cats, there is no need to have Jeremiah Masoli in the game anymore.
Protect your key guys.
Get ready for Ottawa. And I'm sure Rick Campbell and the Red Blacks, after watching this,
they're thinking this doesn't look like the team that they swept in back-to-back games late in the season to clinch first.
It's been a day of destruction here. Jeremiah Johnson leaves. And I would think even some of the key defensive players might be getting some rest here as we get close to the fourth. Sunday Night Football continues tonight. NFC East rivalry. Cowboys and Eagles looking to stay in the playoff hunt. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. TSN and CTV2. Don't forget Bombers and Riders. And I'll make you a bet, 40. I'm just going out on a limb. I'm not a betting guy. That game's going to be closer than this one. Simone still trying to catch his breath, as are the BC Lions. They got run over by a black and gold freight train here today. Flag down. And the other thing that's going to happen here in the fourth, probably, some frustrations. You've got to stay out of stuff. This is not the BC Lion
Major
team.
foul, unnecessary roughness, Hamilton, number 1. 15 yards at the end of the play, automatic first down.
That we watched rally in the second half of the season, clearly. Not even close to the team we saw.
Hamilton got on them early today and just kept coming. I think the Tiger Cats, to me, came out and sent a message right from their first offensive play. Jeremiah Masoli going against the wind, steps back and throws a bomb right down the pipe to Braylon Addison. Let it be known, the wind wasn't going to be a factor, nor was anything else. Nothing was going to stand in the way of the Hamilton Tiger Cats today.
Jennings, play action. Jump ball again. Final play of the third quarter. Looking for Dave Mackey downfield. Western Mustang. Second largest playoff deficit after 3 quarters. Edmonton led Winnipeg 46-1 back in '96. This one 44-0. Heading to the fourth.
Anybody out there you're afraid of? No. Right? What's happening, sir? Hell no, okay? I'm going to walk out there and look at him and tell him, I'm going to point at the logo and tell him, not today, boys. All right? Let's go out there. Come on, lean in. All right. Tiger Cats. Looking as only you can look.
That was the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, good friend of Angela Mosca. Of course, used to wrestle together way back when, WWE time. The Nature Boy. If this was a wrestling match, that would have been a tap out or a 3 count early on, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they slapped the Nature Boys figure 4 on real early.
Never thought I'd say this in a playoff game, 40. But is there a mercy rule?
Run the clock.
BC Lions talked about it last week in some of the regular season finales, playing for pride. They're playing for pride right now. And that ball almost picked off. Again, this is not the way the Lions had any intention going down here. GM Ed Hervey, his first year with Wally Buono, his last year. There will be changes in BC next year. There will be a new head coach, and the Mike Riley sweepstakes begin. Might he be in BC next year? 3rd and 10. Cody Fajardo's calling out signals, but Tai Long is kicking. Trying an onside kick, went the other way. Penalty flag.
They're roughing the kicker.
It was kind of confusing from the get-go. Tai Long, most outstanding special teams player and most outstanding player for BC this year. BC will hang on to the football here.
Well, Sean Thomas Erlington rushed the punter and went for the block.
Hamilton, automatic first down, 15 yards.
Now one hurt. Long is still down. Here is a guy who's got an NFL leg.
And has had the opportunity here in the Canadian Football League to demonstrate some versatility, handling all the roles, punts, field goals, and kickoffs.
Not looking good as everybody takes a knee here. We'll step aside and come back to Hamilton and the Eastern Division semifinal. The CFL playoffs on TSN are brought to you by Shaw. Proud to present the 106th Grey Cup. 2 weeks from today in Edmonton, Brickfield at Commonwealth Stadium. Who will be there? It will not include the BC Lions. Down 44 points early in the fourth. Roughing the kicker call. They keep the drive going from the 40. Jennings swarmed and then swallowed up. Don Unumba coming in, and once again, Larry Dean. This linebacking trio, Lawrence, Dean, and Unumba, have been sensational this season.
They certainly have. Larry Dean leading the way in defensive plays for the Tiger Cats. Don Unumba, a guy who, essentially being a journeyman in the Canadian Football League, having bounced around, spent time in Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, Montreal, really found a home. He was a perfect fit in Jerry Glanville's scheme.
Jennings threads the needle to Corey Watson, his first catch near the first down marker. Do you think Unumba being around Simone and Larry Dean has helped him though?
Yeah, certainly. 2 veteran guys playing at a high level. It kind of allowed Don Unumba to just focus on doing his own job. and he's done it very, very well.
Jennings took a shot from Julian Hauser. Trying to get some points on the board. That's the goal for the Lions. Do not want to be shut out here. Doesn't happen too many times. Pump and go. Jennings, and catch is made by Shaq Johnson, and they're saying it's a touchdown. What a catch by Shaq. Finally something, anything to cheer about for the BC Lions. Watch this.
Yeah, great throw by Jennings. Takes a shot just as he releases that one from Hauser. Nice concentration.
That's using
Zach
your butt.
Johnson backs it on up.
Look at this. Good call by the side judge. Lions finally on the board. They need 6 more of these, though. Jennings snared for 2 points. Brian Burnham, who made an outstanding 2-point catch back in BC in game 1 between these two teams. Game BC won, but a game that BC can't win here today. Down a lot. Finally get some points. 44-8 in the East semifinal. Back to jaw climbing.
Yeah, I was chatting with Speedy B in the sideline. Back in '98, I blew my shoulder out on exactly the same type of play, catching a ball on a corner pattern, talking about it. And he says, yeah, I just got my x-rays from my blown out collarbone, and he sent it to me, and I forwarded it off to you guys to have a look at. And he showed me the before look, and his collarbone is in many pieces. And now there seems to be a fair bit of hardware in there. He says he's in a sling for another 3 weeks, and then in 3 months, he'll be ready for contact again. But he's been really focused on helping Addison, because he's playing exactly the same position he was in. That's who he wants to see have success for the Hamilton Tiger Cats now.
And including Justin Buren. That did not look good, that x-ray, by the way. That was frightening, but Brandon Banks was having an all-star, almost an MOP season, if not for his quarterback, who, by the way, is on the sideline now. Dane Evans is in.
Tremendous year for Brandon Banks. Jeremiah Masoli
still listening to the plays.
You can't hide. Tremendous day for him.
And the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Evans. Addison. Make that Justin Buren, who made the catch. Justin Buren's first catch of the day. 19.
Justin Buren's been a nice story for the Tiger Cats again, as a guy who has taken advantage of the opportunity presented by injuries. Wasn't originally invited to the main CFL Combine, went through the regional combine in Winnipeg, qualified and earned an invitation to the National.
2 grabs actually for Buren today. They're letting everybody play now. Again, it's Alex Green who will get a couple more touches. He'll figure prominently next week. Here's Dane Evans' numbers this season. Pair of touchdowns, pair of picks.
Evans started the Ticats season finale last week.
Playing time invaluable. Jeremiah Masoli remembers that well when he got in some mop-up time. 2nd and 5. Evans for Tasker. Nice play. TJ Lee led the CFL in doing exactly that. One of the guys who could knock down so many passes. He had 15 in the regular season.
Yeah, TJ Lee, terrific football player. 2 real good veterans going at it on that side of the field when he and Luke Tasker match up.
Here's Hairolahu, punt with the wind. Using up the clock. High kick will bounce into the end zone. They'll give up a single point. 45 on the board now. Well, never thought we'd give away the Shaw connection of the game early in the fourth quarter, but we are.
Yeah, Jeremiah Masoli on the scramble. Finds his go-to guy, Luke Tasker. Tasker does the rest. Terrific catch. Steal it from the grasp of TJ Lee. A nice move to fight his way in over the goal line for the touchdown.
Shaw connection of the game. Brought to you by Shaw, proud to present the 106th Grey Cup. Ottawa Red Blacks start devising a game plan for Hamilton next week. Will be at TD Place Stadium for the East Final. Jennings to Collins. Bombers, Riders coming up. Winner takes on Calgary. West Final in McMahon next week. I think we're going to be seeing some snowflakes there, partner, in Ottawa. We usually do last couple of seasons, haven't we? Grey Cup last year, East Final.
It is that time of year. Nothing says playoffs in the Canadian Football League like a little bit of snow.
Jennings from the gun again, has to run. Adrian Tracy giving chase. Pancakes. Jonathan Jennings, no call. Incomplete. Think about how this game unraveled so quickly. That Adrian Tracy play early in the ball game might have been one of the TSN turning points. Fumble by Travis Lulay.
I mean, Hamilton had a 14-0 lead, and BC had literally run one offensive play.
Second down now for the Lions. Weaving it in, and Corey Watson chopped down near the 35. Hamilton team that has been salivating with the prospect of trying to get back to a Grey Cup. Here's a 31-yard pass and run play to Corey Watson.
A nice little fake to the out move. Got the defender, Cariel Brooks, to bite.
First and 10. Good drop for Jennings, and open on the far side. DeVere Posey. Couple of players down, one Cat, one Lion in the backfield.
Posey on the outside gets a nice release.
Both players now up. It was Teddy Laurent and Joel Figueroa. So first and 10 inside the 15-yard line.
Well, and this is, as you alluded to earlier, your biggest worry at this point if you're the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I mean, you can get some of your starters off the field. You can't get them all off the field. You just hope that there are no injuries that are going to keep any key players out of the lineup 7 days from now.
June Jones, former coach in the National Football League, former player in the CFL. And spends his off seasons in the Hawaiian Islands. Jennings pulls it back and pulls the trigger. Watson again. Had a chance to chat with Delvin Breaux yesterday. And you don't say his name very often in broadcast, do you? Because he's alone on that Breaux Island, where a lot of quarterbacks just do not aim for it. But Breaux missed the last couple of games with injury, but he was saying 2013 and 2014 still sting. for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Last time he went to a Grey Cup, they lost back-to-back. Jennings is dropped.
Jason Neal got him from the backside.
Guy who missed the last 5 games of the regular season with injury. He's healthy again.
There's Neal in the 4-point stance. There's a little bit of confusion over on the left side of that Lions offensive line. They executed the twist.
3rd down and 15. Under 6 to play. Tossing it up and incomplete. Almost a spectacular grab. Larry Dean retreating in coverage. Corey Watson on his knee. Getting close for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Starting to make their reservations for the nation's capital.
Welcome back to Tim Hortons Field. The Ticats are up by 37 points, but here's the point that you really need to know. Mike Filer, Luke Tasker, Ted Laurent, Simone Lawrence, Delvin Breaux, all members of those 2013-2014 teams that went to the Grey Cup, and obviously Jeremiah Masoli was the quarterback in the 2015 East Final. There has been an understanding from all of that group, guys, that this might be the opportunity to right wrongs, to actually correct history and win a championship. They've been talking about it over the last few weeks. This is just another step to that goal, guys.
Thank you, Matt. Last time the Hamilton Tiger Cats won the Grey Cup was back in 1999. They did it in Vancouver. Danny McManus, old buddy Danny Mac. QB, that team. It's been a long time for the Cats. Trying to get back there. Thought they had a good shot in 13, had a great shot in 14.
Ain't no love when the breadwinners really win, man. So it's hated 11, the underdogs on top, man. It looked like y'all was out the freaking Ava, man.
Under 5 to play. 5 minutes to go, and Cats run to Ottawa. Evans had a good arm. Mike Jones in a sprint, cutting back. Got another guy that they're going to need next week. Mike Jones.
Jones had 2 of his 3 regular season touchdowns against the BC Lions. Those came in the first meeting between these teams at BC Place. There you saw Winston Rose was tripped up on the play, leaving Jones open.
We will rekindle the Ottawa-Hamilton rivalry next week. The Blacks winning those 2 games down the stretch. Vaulted them into first place, getting that home date. Alex Green. 3:44 to go in Wally Buono's career as well. What a career. Clearly not the kind of send-off he would have liked. You played for the man. What he has left, the legacy, the Wally dust, the magic dust that he has had all around the CFL, people he's touched.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Wally Buono coaching tree alone, the people who have coached under him, who have gone on to become head coaches, even some assistant coaches, coordinators around the league.
Buren right in front of Wally Buono on that sideline.
Yeah, the legacy is rather massive. The most successful coach in Canadian Football League history. As you said, an unfortunate way to see it come to an end for Wally Buono, but certainly there's absolutely nothing that can tarnish what he has done in this league and for this league.
Amen. Wally winningest coach in CFL history. today. Not against this Hamilton Tiger Cat team that has feasted all day long, and everything has come up Ticats today. I think that's you in that costume, 40.
It's supposed to be a secret.
Now looks towards next year and finding a head coach. Not easy to replace a legend.
Hamilton, the penalties declined.
How do you replace a legend? Tried it once before as well.
Yeah, it's a tough act to follow.
Wally said yesterday he doesn't get sentimental about things. You know this man well. You know, as gruff as he can be sometimes, he has got a very soft heart.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly things about which Wally gets sentimental, but you know, honestly, one of the things that I think has made him successful as a coach and general manager has been his ability to separate personal feelings from football evaluations.
Hajrullahu getting his foot ready for next week. To make it a 40-point lead. He does. Wally Buono's last game, and one of his greatest players says he will be missed.
I feel like as a player, he's helped me so much, man. I remember early mornings he would just come in and he would always find where I was at, where Sally at, and his whole thing was making me tough. His whole thing was trying to help me as a linebacker, and there's times where he was hard on me, where I just couldn't understand why he always had a nitpick on me, always was hard on me, and you know, I understand it now, man. The admiration, the love that I have for Wally, it goes beyond football, because he's really taught me how to, you know, be a great football player, but also become a man.
Well, I think there are many people who would share similar sentiment about Wally Buono.
Was he tough on you?
He traded me.
I guess that's tough.
But I mean, this is what I talk about in terms of separating personal feelings from those football evaluations. Wally drafted me in the first round in 1991. It was his second year as a head coach. After my second year, we had won the Grey Cup in 1992, and I found myself shipped off to Winnipeg. But a few years later, after I had proven myself as a player, for getting a chance to play elsewhere, he was the guy who brought me back to Calgary as a free agent. And we had a chance to win a Grey Cup together in '98.
Here's what he has done. What a life, what a football life, Wally Buono, which means good in Italian, but Wally has had a great career.
Yeah, he certainly has.
As a player, the Alouettes, where he learned from the great Marv Levy, and then transferred it to coaching and as an executive. Footprints throughout this league. Hall of Famer, member of the Order of Canada. People don't talk about all the other stuff away from the field. Has done so much work with Special Olympics and so many charities. Remember his health scare a few years ago, and still returned to the sidelines.
Yeah, remarkable individual.
Jennings running for his life, like Travis Lulay had to do early on. Nikita Whitlock. There's the Ric Flair move here. Woo! Salute to the nature boy in the house.
Nikita Whitlock right on the nose.
Whitlock with a leg lock. These guys had that worked out in the dressing room.
Got some 3 count on his buddy Jason Neal.
That 3 count came early in this game. There goes Jeremiah Johnson. Began the season as the featured tailback, but did not end that way. what will happen next year in that backfield. GM Ed Hervey did pull out a lot of good moves down the stretch. Getting Sean Lemon midway through the season. DeVere Posey, Terrell Sutton.
Yeah, starting to put some pieces in place. Again, it will be a very interesting offseason in terms of free agency.
Last minute. Into the Hamilton sideline. Now, we could have handed this out a lot earlier too, partner. Nissan Titan Player of the Game, brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Yet another remarkable performance for the Hamilton Tiger Cats quarterback. The only thing that prevented him from getting to 300 yards is the fact that he shut it down in the fourth quarter. Looking ahead to next week's East Division final, 14-19 for 259. Jeremiah, say it with me, Masoli is the Nissan Titan Player of the Game.
As he told us, and he told us a long time ago.
It was actually his mom. His mom sent the message. It's Masoli. It's not Mazzoli.
It's an S.
Masoli.
S, not a Z.
And I think it's the East Division Player of the Year. Most outstanding player. I think he's earned the right to have his name pronounced correctly.
Look at what he has done to BC. Siegfried and Roy stuff. 50 seconds. And Mercer Timmis is getting some touches. Mercer Timmis, who began the year going to the end zone 4 times in a couple of games, has hardly seen any touches since that time. And a guy whose legacy is all over this place too, that family, the Timmis family.
Yeah, it used to be Brian Timmis Field, used to be the Ticats practice field right beside Ivor Wynne Stadium. Mercer grew up in nearby Burlington, Ontario. Bit of a football hotbed here in Southern Ontario.
Is that the Nature Boys belt? Jeremiah Masoli, who is very flattered by the MOP talk. And he loves the fact that things have turned around so well for him this year. He's not thinking MOP though, because he's looking ahead to the Red Blacks, who have swept this season against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, including those back-to-back late in the season. Clock's at 0. A day they told everybody to wear black. A blackout becomes a blowout. Wally Buono's final game in his glorious coaching career. The Hammer nails a spot to Ottawa.
Phenomenal performance for June Jones' Hamilton Tiger Cats. Well-deserved victory. Jeremiah Masoli certainly living up to that nomination with his performance today.
Cats and Red Blacks next week. Lions look to next season. 48-8. The final here in this East Division semi-final, which became a rout at halftime. Goodbye from Hamilton. We'll see you next week.
College football final kicking off the